Now, I brought you a story last time around that the club of Arsenal officials went ahead to meet with the agents of Rafael Leao. And Rafael Leao's agents are his relatives. And guess what? They met in London. In there. Now, by that time, I hadn't obviously gone ahead to know exactly the reason why Arsenal is going in for Rafael Leao, but I told you he's an exceptional player, provided Mikel Arteta can obviously improve him and turn him into a world-class player, because he has all the traits of world-class. But inconsistency is one of the reasons that he's not yet world-class. As I told you, to become world-class, all you need is to be consistent, and Rafael Leao should be working on that. Now, with Arsenal having a lot of injuries into the forward positions, remember, before Jesus returned, Martinelli, Odegaard, and the other player who goes by the names of Gyökeres, Arsenal had close to 6 forwards injured. And that means they are looking out for forwards or more forwards to add onto their team that are really versatile. And they can play very many different positions altogether. And I think I've let it sink into my medulla very well that all they need is a versatile player in that forward position that can play across that entire line. If you never knew, Rafael Leao can play as a left forward, he can play as a right forward, can play as a number 10, can play as a center forward. And welcome to what we call the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, after subscribing, please hit the notification bell. Why is hitting the notification bell very important? It will enable you to get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. And even if we schedule what we call a live stream, you will obviously get to know that it is really going to be premiering at such and such a time. Now, let's go to court offside, because for every player you want to buy, when he is on contract, you have to oblige to the price that has been put onto the head of that player. And we need to know, how much does Arsenal need to cough out to get in a Rafael Leao, Portuguese international, who I think is cooked and born and bred for the Premier League? If at all you see his physicality and the way he bowls players in there, I think he's really one of those that is made for, all tailor-made for the Premier League. That is Rafael Leao. Now, court offside have told us that Arsenal have been quoted a price tag of £75 million for AC Milan forward, that is Rafael Leao, which is considerably less than €100 million Chelsea were quoted in the summer. The Portuguese has so far scored 5 goals and provided some assists in 8 appearances for the Italian Giants this season in there for you. So that is what we are getting in through from the side of court offside. And when court offside puts out a story, you just have to pay a lot of attention to detail to it, because I tell you what, it's really one of those stories that, it's really one of those media outlets that Fabrizio Romano really works with, and meaning that they also have their sources that you cannot fail to trust, because they are really credible. And let's wait and see what will happen, whether Arsenal will go in for Rafael Leao. But Rafael Leao for £75 million. £75 million. I think 80 million pounds has now become the normal price for a good player. That is it. I think it has gone ahead to become the normal price for a good player. And Rafael Leao is a good player. And with the competition and the bidding war that comes with him being on the market, I think it can skyrocket. Because right now, if it's £75 million during the December side, if we enter into what we call the if we enter into what we call January transfer window and very many clubs really show interest in him, then his price will obviously have to skyrocket. And if you've been doing economics, you know exactly the factors that lead to the price. The factors of demand and supply. When the demand is high, what happens to the price? The price hikens. When the demand is low, obviously the price goes south. So that is it. So if Rafael Leao is going in for £75 million right about now, I really understand that if very many teams really go ahead and really show interest in signing him, then his price will obviously go north. But as it stands right now, the lad is obviously having a very good time in there for you. So for me, Rafael Leao, £75 million, if I'm Arsenal, it's a bargain. It's a bargain because his age is quite friendly with the structure of Arsenal, and that means he might be coming in through to replace a player known as Leandro Trossard, who was increased his salary, but the contract duration was not really tampered with. And you never know what's obviously going to be happening during the summer transfer window. Are they obviously going to add him more years, or are they obviously going to show him the exit door? That is Leandro Trossard for the club of Arsenal. But as I understand, there is another factor that we have to look at as Rafael Leao's price has been really earmarked. And what is that? It's all about Gabriel Jesus. Jesus is one of those players that plays well across all the front three positions. And with Gyökeres in there, leading the line, Kai Havertz, if Gyökeres keeps fit, he can be tried out as a left forward. That is it. And if he can really play as a left forward, I tell you, he's really deadly. And if he keeps himself fit, nothing will see Arsenal going in for a left forward. That is it. Because they'll be having very many players that play in different positions of this pitch that are highly competitive. And I think they've gone ahead to lay out a plan to bring in Rafael Leao, and they're having conditions set. Obviously, he's coming in through will depend onto the decision of Arsenal on Leandro Trossard and how Gabriel Jesus will obviously thrive in the coming games, and see whether he can keep himself fit. I tell you, if the guy keeps himself fit, there is no way they're obviously gonna be seeing this guy leave. You understand? That is it. If he keeps himself fit, then I don't think Rafael Leao will come in through at the club of Arsenal. Or maybe Arsenal will be like, what can we do right now for the lad? But his contract expires in 2028. If this is 2025, the summer, it will be 2026, meaning that he'll be left with just 2 years on his contract. And that's a duration that can see AC Milan earn that amount of money. If they don't get £75 million during the summer transfer window and Rafael Leao doesn't really extend his contract, I think in the summer of 2027, he'll obviously go on a cheap. And that's one of the things they need to work on immediately. I tell you, if they want to sell that player, they should sell him now, to obviously scoop out that amount of money that they want. And if they don't, then they are doomed to really fail in getting the £75 million mark they've gone ahead to obviously put onto the head of Rafael Leao. One of the players that I've gone ahead to love, I really love what he does. I really love his style. And all he needs to do is one. And what is that? It's all about his end product. I think that's the only thing that is really disturbing his game. But if he improves the end product to his game, he's really going to be one of those deadly players that the world will look at and really understand that, oh my, he is such a special lad. and he's a Portuguese, and he's such a talent, you know, that is no longer raw, but just needs to be consistent to see to it that all really goes on well as planned in here. So that's all about Rafael Leao, and he's coming in through the club of Arsenal, and they've gone ahead to put in a very huge shift in there to see to it that they bring him in. The lure of a big money move to the Premier League is attractive to Rafael Leao, and I think Rafael Leao has come of age to come to the Premier League. That is it. He is going to be coming to the Premier League, and he knows to it that at this juncture, no time is left for him to obviously stop this. He is eagerly waiting to come to the Premier League, and it's mission impossible on his side. You know, he wants this to happen, as the Premier League is the best league in the world. And when you look at Arsenal, it's really very attractive. It's the best team in Europe right now as we speak. And tell me, which player doesn't want to play for the best team? Every player wants to play for the best team, because every time you're playing for the best team, there is the way you thrive. You thrive as you're really having quality players around you. And he is this kind of player who really believes in himself. That means he can take on everyone. One is asking me, what about Gabriel Martinelli? I tell you, Martinelli should be a bench player. You know, if he starts games, he doesn't really look good. And in that Chelsea game particularly, if Martinelli came off the bench, I think would have gone ahead to hold a much more better impact. Tell me the last time you saw Martinelli have an impact on the field of play when he has started an Arsenal game. All the impact has been holding has been courtesy of him coming off the bench. That is it. Let's leave Arsenal in there for you. They are coming in action tonight. They are going to be hosting a team known as Brentford. And in the next 1 hour from now, we're obviously going to be dropping what we call a match day live, you know, and that includes the confirmed starting 11 for the club of Arsenal, and so on and so forth. Then we break down everything. Then after, when the game is done, the match reaction will come in thereafter, and then there is something else that will come up, the manager's reaction to the game, and lastly, to cap up that game of Arsenal and Brentford, the player ratings will roll in like never before. Now, let's head to Barcelona a little bit, as we tell you that one of the most talented players in Spain football right now, or in Spanish football right now, Dani Olmo, will be out for 3 weeks with a dislocated shoulder. Barcelona have gone ahead to confirm. Now, this is not good news for the side of Barcelona, because I understand they really have a lot of players in there, you know, that play in that position. But I think Dan Olmo holds a special place in my heart, you know, because he's such a talent. He's such a natural every time he's really playing. You know, there are players you see that are really good, but when they are not really naturals. But this guy, it looks like football flows in his body. That is Dani Olmo for you. And for Barcelona, I know they are really agitated for what is going to happen, especially the manager. The manager of Barcelona, Hans Flick, is really having a season that is really very, very, very unstable in there for you, you know. So, is really having something that is really very, 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 very unstable in there. So, guys, that is all about Dani Olmo, and for 3 weeks he's gonna be away. That means he's gonna miss a couple of games for Barcelona. But all we know is that Barcelona really have very many youngsters that can come in through and really cover up for him. Now, let's leave Spain and let's get back to London. Let's get back to London, and that is at the Sob Trading Center for the club of Arsenal. Now, it was reported a month back that Chamberlain is currently training with Arsenal after being released by Besiktas in August. The midfielder made almost 200 appearances for the Gunners between 2011 and 2017 before leaving for Liverpool in a £35 million move. He's predominantly training with Arsenal's under-21s to keep fit. So, there were rumors and there were people claiming that why can't Arsenal go in and obviously give this guy a permanent deal? Because they thought that a permanent deal that is really very short, as they really had very many forwards. They're really injured. But Arteta and his side were like, please, 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 as you trusted us with this job, please also trust us with who we recruit to come in through to do the job here at Arsenal. But Chamberlain, in January, I think he'll obviously have to get a team. I tell you. One of the things that we'll understand is that he'll get a team, and when he gets a team, obviously, he will find himself in a position of really doing a very good job in there for you, because he's a very good player, and I know the Premier League teams will obviously sign him out because he has the Premier League experiences, and teams like Sunderland will obviously go out for him. I think teams like Everton will need his services. Very many teams in that caliber will obviously come up for him. Now, guys, I'll call upon for your reactions in the comment section below about Rafael Leao asking price reveal to Arsenal. Do you think he's worth a £75 million spend? Arsenal fans, please go into the comment section and let me know. And then, what do you make about Dani Olmo out for 3 weeks? Oh my God. Shoulder injury. You know, he twisted it a little bit and he's going to be out for 3 weeks. And do you think Chamberlain should be really given a short-term contract at Arsenal to come in through and really put in a very huge shift to see it that Arsenal really has numbers when it comes to the title race that they are into right about now? Guys, good evening, and we are going to be returning with the match day live. Arsenal, obviously, tussling it out with a side called Brentford. I'm out.